Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you all for joining us today for an exclusive webinar with the University of Debrecen in Hungary. Today's webinar will go on for 1 hour. In the first half, we'll discuss about the university and then we'll move on to the Q&A session where we will be answering your questions. So today we have Ms. Dora from the University of Debrecen with us. And
Hello.
over to you.
Hi, thank you, Zara, and thank you, Dr. Kadri, for having us today. Here I have one of my colleagues with me who will be just listening in because she's a new colleague at our office, and we wanted her to see what an ideal webinar and Q&A session looks like. So,
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Arife. Nice to meet you.
so I will be holding the presentation and answering your questions along with Dr. Kadri when it comes to the questions that he knows the answers to best. And my colleague will be in just listening to what's happening. But if you have any questions addressed to her, please feel free. Let's jump right into the presentation. So we have more time for the questions in the end. Sarah, do you see my share screen just real quick?
Yes, I can see
Is
it.
everything working? Great, awesome. So I'm going to be talking about the University of Debrecen, the programs that we offer, and the place itself, because I'm sure that some of you have never been to Hungary before. So real quickly, Hungary is a member state of the European Union as well as the Schengen Agreement, the Schengen area. It's in Central Europe, so right in the middle of Europe. It's a small country of about 10 million people. The capital is, of course, Budapest. And it was ranked the 14th safest country in the world in 2024. This is something that we always like to highlight because obviously studying abroad, coming to a new country, staying away from family and friends can be challenging, but we want you to know that this is one of the safest places that you could come to study, and you will be taken care of here. The country itself has mild continental climate, so it means that you get to experience a bit of all four seasons. As you can see in the movies, we have some snow, we have hot summers, but not as hot as in the UAE. And then everything in between. Right now, we are in the middle of spring, so today is a bit windy, but just this past weekend, we had like 25 degrees and sunny weather, which we enjoyed greatly. So yeah, you get a bit of everything here throughout the year. Now, for the city of Debrecen, it's one of the oldest cities in Hungary. It has more than 650 years of history. It's the second largest city, but it's still considered small on a global scale, I guess, because there are about 230,000 people living in Debrecen. Fun fact, about 15 to almost 20% of the population of the city is an active university student, and another 10 to 15% works at the university or is otherwise affiliated with the university. So it's a true university town. It's 2.5 hours from Budapest by car or train. And yeah, as it's one of the oldest university towns in Hungary, we are very used to catering to students' needs. We have everything that you might need, all the amenities, all the facilities that you might need, not just for studying, but in your everyday life. You can see some photos of our main square, some of the parks that we have. The parks that you see, that's actually the Nagy Erdei Park, which Great Forest Park, which is about a 5-minute walk from the main campus where we are right now. So it's really nice to hang out there when the weather allows. Um, it's Debrecen offers you a very relaxed city life, but as I mentioned, it still has everything you might need for to live comfortably. In general, we have an international airport with direct flights to multiple European destinations. We have a historic city center. We have great public transportation as well as bicycle roads. And many of our students actually benefit from the bike roads that we have because when the weather gets nicer, they just get on their bike and they can reach any point of the city very easily and safely. Um, as you have seen previously, we have green city parks, open air and indoor pools, and swimming pools and spas as well. Because Hungary in general, but Debrecen as well, is known for its thermal water, and it's very popular amongst tourists to get some time in the water and benefit from its healing properties. So this is something that we are famous for. We also have multiple gyms, ice skating rinks, sports fields, museums, theaters, cinemas. Both the theaters and cinemas in town offer either English language shows or shows that would be subtitled in English, so internationals can enjoy them as well. Now let's talk about the university because, of course, that's the main point of our meeting today. The predecessor of the university, which was the College of the Protestant Church, was first established in 1538. So that makes us one of the oldest universities in the country and in Central Europe as well. And it also gives us a couple hundred years of experience and wisdom in higher education. Currently, we have 13 faculties operating on 8 different campuses in 4 cities. So we are not just a city college or a city university, we are the largest higher education institution in the country, spanning multiple cities on the eastern side of the country. We have 32,000 students as of this academic year, and more than 7,600 of them are internationals. And that also makes us the largest international campus in Central Europe, which we are incredibly proud of because I'm never sure which one is the selling point for international students, but there's something that we must be doing right for internationals to be choosing UD as their study destination. Now for academics, the student lecture ratio at the university is 20 to 1, which is the European standard, of course. So we have about 1,005, just a bit over 1,500 lecturers, and many other staff members as well. I mentioned that we have 13 faculties. What are they? We have the Faculty of Agriculture, Dentistry, Economy and Business, Education, Engineering, Health Sciences, Humanities, IT, Law, Medicine, Music, Pharmacy, as well as Science and Technology. So basically, almost all study fields are covered at one of our faculties. You can see some photos of our green campuses here. By the way, these photos are not photoshopped. We are just in a very nice and green area. You can see our agriculture campus as well as the life sciences building, our main campus. This picture, I think, was taken 2 years ago during spring, and the life sciences library as well. So you will see that it's, I think, an ideal place to study, to focus on your studies, to relax a bit. And even when you have to go from one class to the other in different buildings, the view is just exquisite. I mentioned before that we were, or the predecessor of the university was established in 1538, but how did we get to where we are now? Well, the Hungarian Royal University, which used to be the one with the main building, was founded in 1912. And then we also, in and around Debrecen, had other smaller colleges and universities in the past, focusing on a specific study field or a specific area of science. And then in 2000, thankfully, they decided to unify these colleges and universities in town to create the all-encompassing University of Debrecen in 2000. So the previously separate universities or colleges became simply faculties of the same university with a larger management. So this is how we came to be. And I think in this system, we operate and thrive quite spectacularly. You will see that we have very impressive buildings on campus, both a bit more classical or a bit more historic, such as the main building, as well as some new facilities, such as the Learning Center, which is essentially a community space for students to hang out, to meet up, do group projects together, study together. We also have an exam room within the Learning Center with all electronic examination systems. We also have a lecture hall, smaller seminar rooms, a cafe and a restaurant, and a prayer room for both genders. So it really serves all of our students. Then across the street from the Learning Center, we have the Sports Sciences building, and as well as multiple sports fields and like tennis courts, football fields, basketball courts. Then we have a limited number of dorms and hostels on campus. And then we also offer services to help you find accommodation off campus if you might need assistance with that. Then you will see the Life Sciences building again, which is where you will be spending the first 2 years of your studies if you choose dentistry, medicine, or pharmacy at UD, as well as the IT campus, which is also lovely. We offer self-study spaces, labs, and simulators to all of our students, depending on which program they choose. All of our programs are very practice-based, so usually around 45 to 60% of the studies would be practices. We have modern lecture halls, restaurants on campus, cafes, snack bars, post offices, even a grocery store and ATMs. Then I have to mention the library of the University of Debrecen, which qualifies as a national library. So it has the National Library of the University of Debrecen as its full name. This is also something that we like to highlight and something that I personally am very proud of, because there are only two national libraries in the country, in Hungary. One of them is in Budapest and the other one is ours. Now, what do you have to do to qualify for this title? You have to have at least 6 million books and other items within your collection, which we do. And also, once you become a national library, that means that any book or any other item, such as a scientific journal, etc., gets published in Hungary, we have to receive at least one copy of it. So anything that you might need for your research, for your studies, you will find that at the university library. We have multiple locations, obviously, for the library, depending on the faculty that it's close to and the study field, but they all are part of the National Library of the University of Debrecen. So I'm really excited for you to see it when you come in September or the September of 2026. We are also home to the fastest processing supercomputer of the country. I don't know much about IT, so if any of you guys know, then you can help explain it to me, but I'm very proud of the fact, nevertheless. Also, if you are considering medicine, it's very important to highlight that we have the largest healthcare provider of the country on campus, which is the clinical center of the university, with over 3 million patient cases per year, offering all kinds of treatments and procedures such as open heart surgery or brain gamma surgery, etc. Even 3D printing for bone replacement procedures. And all of your clinical practices as future medical professionals would be carried out at the clinical center of the University of Debrecen or the teaching hospital of the University of Debrecen, which is about 15 minutes from the main campus of the university. So you won't be losing time commuting back and forth. Where you have your classes is right next to where you have your practices on campus. I mentioned that we have a lot of international students, 7,600, a bit over that, to be exact. So of course, we have a very vibrant and colorful student community with lots of events throughout the academic year. Just this last week, we had our International Food Day, which is always the highlight of the academic year, with 25 groups this year cooking their traditional national dishes and sharing it with the rest of the student community. It was a huge success. I think around 3,500 people came to celebrate this day together. Then we also have the largest semester opening ceremony in Central Europe, which is called U Day. That one we have in the middle of September each year. So when everybody's already here to start the new semester and the new academic year, we celebrated with concerts, laser shows, and the famous flag show for our international students. So there's always something to do, something to look forward to. And we have the ISU International Student Union at UD who organizes or helps us organize these events. So if you want to be proactive, if you want to do something extracurricular, joining the ISU is a great way to make friends and do something impactful. So I mentioned the number of students that we have, but where do they come from? Well, they come from around 140 countries all around the world. So basically any country you might think of, we will have at least one student from there. But we have a lot of students from many different countries and many different cultures. That's why Debrecen is strangely and a bit weirdly a true melting pot of different cultures, and is very international, despite Debrecen being a calm Eastern European city in the countryside. So this is, I think, a very nice paradox, and it's very interesting. So you can meet people from all around the world, talk to them, learn a bit about their culture, and make lifelong friends across the globe in a small town in Hungary. Now, what can you study at UD? Basically, we have what's called the Medical School of the University of Debrecen, which consists of 4 faculties: the Faculty of Medicine, the Faculty of Dentistry, the Faculty of Pharmacy, and the Faculty of Health Sciences, which offers both bachelor and master level programs in different areas of health sciences, such as public health, nursing, or even social work and social economy. We also offer prep courses for future medical students, which are not compulsory if you fulfill all of the requirements for year 1. The medicine, dentistry, and pharmacy, just real quick, the medicine, dentistry, and pharmacy programs are single cycle medical programs or 1-tier medical programs. That means that they are not divided into bachelor and master level programs. It's all in one go after high school or after foundation, depending on your situation. And medicine can be finished in 6 years, while dentistry and pharmacy are 5-year-long programs. And for all 3, you need a high school diploma and you need to pass the university's own entrance exam. Those of you who are applying for September 2025 must already be familiar with this, because you might have already taken the exam, or you might be taking the exam in a little less than 2 weeks. So the exam would be a test in biology and chemistry or biology and physics, and then an entrance interview. Now, for nursing, you would also need to have a high school diploma and complete an entrance exam in biology, and then do an entrance interview. And for the rest of the programs, it's only a high school diploma or a bachelor's degree for the master's ones, and an entrance interview. For the non-medical programs, we have another 9 faculties, but as we have around 100 different study programs in this category, I won't be naming all of them and listing all of them. But just for your information, we offer programs in agriculture, business, engineering, humanities, IT, science, law, and even music. For all of our bachelor programs, we have a September intake, but for some of the masters in the non-medical category, we have a January, February intake as well. For all of these programs, you would, of course, need to have a high school diploma for the bachelor level ones, for the masters, a relevant bachelor degree, and then we offer PhD programs, so you can complete all levels of your higher education studies within the university. I strongly suggest and would like to ask you to follow our social media because we always share our latest updates there, and it's good to see what life on campus looks like. So if you have Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or even YouTube, then please check out our content and watch our videos because you might learn some important details that would make your transition coming here a little easier. And this was my presentation. And now we can skip to the actual interesting part, which is where you can ask your questions and we are happy to answer. So if you
Thank
have
you
any,
very much. Yeah.
yeah, if you have any questions, where should they write it, Zara?
Yes, so we have a Q&A box which should be at the center bottom of your screen. So students,
Yeah.
parents, you can click on that, type your questions, and we'll be answering them now. Uh, all right, so let's begin. First question is by Ahmed. How much does the pilot institution cost per year?
So unfortunately, we will no longer be offering, I'm guessing that you mean the professional pilot program. We will no longer be offering that for the time being.
All right. Question by Manya. And are there any courses for biotechnology and the relative requirements?
Yes, we do. For that, you need a high school diploma, and then you would do an entrance exam in biology and mathematics.
Okay. Question by Soha. Is the University of Debrecen degree recognized or considered equivalent by the UAE authorities?
It is recognized. It's actually worldwide accredited, but you there's some process that you need to go through, basically just to get your documents evaluated. So you get a work permit when you get home. But yes, it's considered equivalent once that documentation process is done.
Okay. Question by Sojanya. Does the dormitory provide food for the students staying over there?
Um, so the dorms that we have do not provide food, but you do have a small kitchenette in some of the dorms that we have, so you can use that. Or in other dorms, the older ones, you usually have a big shared kitchen, which is free to use as well. And then we also have multiple school canteens, as I mentioned, restaurants, cafes, and snack bars, and even a grocery store on campus.
All right. Jaden is asking, what is the cost of psychology in sports?
I don't understand the question. Actually, Zara, do you understand the question? Because
Um,
unfortunately, I don't.
yeah. So there is a BA in psychology program, but psychology in sports is not there. And that's around 6,000 US
Yeah,
dollars
no,
per
it's just a psychology BA that gives you the title of behavioral analyst.
year.
And then we have a sports management master's, but that's different as well.
Okay. Question by Malak. Are the students able to have a campus tour in July?
Actually, we have monthly campus tours that you can register to on our website. So if you would like to do that, please feel free. The July date might not be available just yet because we are a bit further away from those. But yes, there's at least one campus tour per month that you can sign up to participate in. Or if you talk to Dr. Kadri and his team, you're coming with your family, that can be arranged as well, even when it doesn't coincide with the date that we have predetermined for the campus tour. We can show you around if you travel this far. Don't worry.
I think the best way is to contact us, and then
Yeah.
we'll ask the university if it's available. We'll let you know, and then we'll guide you how to go there. No, right?
All
And
right.
also we have a yearly open day, which was this past April. So that might not be new information or relevant information for whoever is asking, but just in general, I would like to mention that there's always an open day for international students in April. So,
Okay. I'm also going to be dropping down our contact details in the next question while we're answering the next question. So, question by Ahmed, what about the cost and availability of the following institutions like aerospace, avionics, software engineering, AI, or cybersecurity?
okay, first off, I salute that you are interested in such ambitious programs. That's great. If you look on our website or as Dr. Kadri, they will be able also to show you and tell you what kind of programs we offer. Unfortunately, some of the ones that you listed are not available at the university. We do have a computer science program, which is essentially software engineering, as well as computer science engineering, which is more on the hardware side. AI would be a diploma course for after your bachelor's, and we don't currently have a cybersecurity program. But let me tell you about the software engineering program that we call computer science or computer science engineering. These are for the normal computer science program, it's a 3-year program. Computer science engineering is 3.5 years. For both, you need to have a high school diploma. You can start the application process in your final year, and then you also have to do an entrance exam and an entrance interview. For computer science, it's in mathematics, and for computer science engineering, it's both maths and physics. Then an entrance interview with someone from the faculty. Usually these programs take around $7,000 per year, or 7,500 for both academic semesters during the year. But please check out the program list that we have. So you might find something that you're interested in. Because some of the programs that you mentioned, we unfortunately don't have, but we do have a lot of engineering programs that might be of use to you.
All right. Yes, as Ms. Dora said, there's a long list of programs, so I'm just gonna be dropping our contact in the chat box. You can contact us for that too. Question by Dua: what is the deadline for the medicine program for the 2025 September intake?
Yeah, so we just discussed this with Dr. Kadri a little before this webinar started, that it would be today that you need to sign up for the last entrance exam that's available this year for the September intake. But I heard that he said if you contact tomorrow, that's still fine. So I see Zara already put the contact information in the chat, so you can still do that for September 2025. Dr. Kadri, is there something you would like to add?
Yes, normally, we do organize the entrance examination in Jan or in April. But this year, since we have got a lot of demand, so we have arranged annual extra entrance examination, which will be held on May 17, this one. So after 2 weeks, no. So sorry, after 10 or 11 days, no. So today is a deadline, but we can extend the deadline up to tomorrow. If you want to register for the exam, please contact our office immediately so that we can register you for the exam now. Thank you.
Awesome.
Alright.
Thank you, Dr. Kadri. Somebody was asking about the biotechnology program, I see.
Yes.
What the requirements are and how long the course is. It's a 3-year program, so 6 semesters. And we already discussed this, but you would need a high school diploma, of course, whichever high school diploma you normally get from your school. And you would do an entrance exam in biology and maths as well.
Okay.
Alright.
They are asking also about the percentage requirement. Okay, let me clarify that there is no percentage requirement when it comes to your school one. So if you get 60, 70, 80%, they can accept you. The main requirement is to pass the entrance examination. So even if you get 90%, and if you don't pass the entrance examination, we will not accept you. If you get 65, 70%, but you pass the entrance examination, we'll accept you. So requirement is not there. Percent requirement is not there. Only the main criteria is to pass the entrance examination. Okay.
Okay. I believe this answers Prabhakar's question, Manya's question. So we're also going to try to avoid repetitive questions over here.
Sure.
Question by Jaden. Do you accept anybody with international foundation program or someone with O levels?
Unfortunately, we don't accept O levels, and you cannot make up for it with a foundation course. So you would need to do A levels in this case because that would qualify as your your high school diploma, that level. And also our entrance exam is A level. So
Okay. Question by Shreya. After completing 6 years in medicine and 1 year internship, will the students get licensed to practice in Hungary?
So actually it's not 6+1 because the practice is also the internship year is also included in the 6 years in the curriculum of the 6 years. So it's not 6+1, it's just 6 years of medicine, and you can get a license as a doctor in Hungary. However, you would need to, because this is a general medicine diploma, you would need to get into a specialist training program, which spans multiple years, of course. It's the same abroad as well. But if you want to do it in Hungary, you need to learn to speak fluent Hungarian because you would already, as you mentioned, you would already be a practicing doctor in Hungary. So, of course, your patients are not required to speak English. You would need to be the one to speak Hungarian to them. So this is one of the reasons why most of our students, after completing their degree and graduating as a medical doctor at UD, they don't end up staying and job seeking here in Hungary. One is because of the language barrier, and two is because their degree can be used worldwide. So they can go and work in the UK, in the States, in Canada, back in their home country, back in the UAE, whatever they decide. So many students would then go and work in a country where English would be used as their first language, so they don't have to learn to speak more Hungarian than what's included in the curriculum for them. But yes, legally you would be allowed to get a license to practice in Hungary.
All right. Question by Sojanya. Are there extra classes with professors if the students need help?
Do you mean when you're already at the university or when you're preparing for the entrance exam? Because if you're talking about preparing for the entrance exam, then yes, we do have a tutoring seminar, which is live online. We actually launch usually two sessions of tutoring seminars for medicine, dentistry, and pharmacy students. That spans a couple of weeks and helps you prepare for the entrance exam if you have trouble doing so individually. If you mean when you're already a student at the university and you struggle with one or more of your subjects, is there any help? It's usually done within the student community. So an upper year student usually would tutor younger students who struggle with some of their classes. And there's a pretty good system working for that. The ISU can help you with that or refer you to an upper year student. So yeah, that can be arranged.
All right. Question by Maya. Regarding the exams during the first year for medicine, is it oral or oral and written?
Both.
All right. Medley is asking, do you usually get applicants for the medicine program who already have a bachelor's degree?
Yes, it happens sometimes because one, many people feel like they're too young at the age of 18 to start a program such as this one, because obviously it's a very competitive program. So they want to get some more experience before doing it. Two, not everybody realizes they want to be doctors and go some other way and then change their minds and then start our program. And three, which is very often the case, because in some other countries, such as the States, it would be a requirement to already have a bachelor's degree of some sort to start medical school. They first thought about studying maybe there, so they did a bachelor's of whatever field. But then later realized that it costs a lot of money and it's way too far away, etc. For whatever reason, they instead considered coming to study in Europe, and then realized that they don't need the bachelor's necessarily to start our medical school, but they already have it. So when they enroll, they already have it. So yes, it's it's not crazy common, but yes, we do have students who are in this situation. So don't worry about that. If you're a little older, if you're not 18 when you're starting this program, it's not an issue. We have some students who realize they want to be doctors when they are 28, so that happens.
All right. Question by Manya. What if the student has not taken maths in high school? Can they still apply for biotechnology?
If you can prepare for the entrance exam individually, sure, you're more than welcome. I think Dr. Kadri's team can send you some sample tests as well as a topic list for the subjects needed. And then you can see whether you could prepare individually for the entrance exam. As long as you can pass it, you're good.
All right. Question by Sojanya. Can you provide off-campus accommodation assistance?
Absolutely, I mentioned it in my presentation previously. We have an office called Troubleshooter. So if you don't get a dorm or if you want to live on campus, off campus, sorry, you can contact the Troubleshooter office and they will put you in contact based on your preferences, your budget, etc. They will put you in contact with a realtor or a real estate agent, and they will find the most suitable private accommodation option for you, which is closest to your campus, or if you want to live in the city center instead, closest to the city center. So yeah, absolutely, we offer assistance with that.
Okay. Question by Pali. Do students need to learn the Hungarian language for the medicine program?
Medical Hungarian, which is included in the curriculum, yes, you actually start off, you start your whole program with a crash course in Hungarian. So you would be able to do your practices and ask your patients during these practices questions about their symptoms, etc., their well-being. So yes, you would know a good chunk of Hungarian, medical Hungarian, but not quite enough to get by just on your own daily, I would say. So yeah, it's very specific to your practices and what you would be doing as a medical student. But if you want to stay and work in Hungary, you would need some extra classes besides that. So the program itself is 100% in English, but due to the practices being with actual patients who are Hungarian, you would need to have some medical Hungarian classes as well.
All right. We have two similar questions. One by Romeo to ask about the general cost of living per year for a student, and the other question for the availability and monthly cost for the food and accommodation in the campus hostel.
Well, I would say that the average student needs about like $700 per month to live comfortably in Debrecen. So 700 per month. That should cover your accommodation and most of your living costs, like groceries, food, textbooks, transportation costs, that sort of thing. As I mentioned in the campus hostel, there's no food, but the accommodation would amount to roughly the same as a shared private apartment off campus. So you would spend around 300, $350 per month on accommodation. It also depends on how big you want the apartment to be, whether you're willing to share or not, where you want it to be located. So it depends on many factors. But yeah, around half of this 700 would go towards your accommodation and utility costs, and another half would go towards groceries, transportation, etc. Of course, if you have higher standards, if you like to go shopping, if you like to go to restaurants, go out a lot, then this amount can easily get higher and higher and higher. It's just the average student living cost that I'm explaining.
Okay. Question by Ahmed. Is there a student visa required for the international students?
Yes. So what happens is when you get accepted to the University of Debrecen, you get one document first, which is your letter of acceptance. In your letter of acceptance, you will see the amount that needs to be paid for your first year of studies. If you pay that amount, you also get a visa support letter from the university. So with these two documents, the letter of acceptance and the visa support letter, you can go to the embassy, your local embassy, and start your visa application process. Basically, what you would have when you come to Hungary first is a D-type visa, which is a so-called student visa. You would enter the country with the student visa or the D-type visa. And when you come to register to our office at the beginning of September or end of August for medical students, you come to register in person. Basically, we will send your information to the immigration office saying that you're registered, you actually showed up, you're starting your first year. So your D-type visa will be automatically turned into a residence permit. And the residence permit is essentially valid for your studies. It might need to be renewed every couple years, but that's also semi-automatic, basically. So it's not really a long process to renew it. But you automatically get it if you have active student status during the duration of your studies. And yeah, you have it up until graduation. So that means once you have the residence permit, you don't have to do anything special. If you travel back and forth, if you go back home and visit and come back to Hungary, you would be traveling like I would. You don't need any other paperwork for that.
All right. Ahmad is also asking, is there a minimum number of AL or O-level subjects required?
For medicine, usually we say at least two A levels and preferably biology and chemistry or biology and physics. O levels, as I mentioned, we don't accept just O levels, so that's not really relevant.
All right. Question by Malak, is math AASL required for the medicine program or is ALSL enough?
So math is not necessarily required for medicine. It's biology and chemistry or biology and physics.
All right.
Because
As
those
we've
are the entrance exam subjects as well.
Right. And as we've mentioned before regarding the requirements, eligibility, you can always contact our office. We should be able to help you with that. With that
Yeah,
being said,
you have so many different systems of education and like so many like the British curriculum, the American, the Indian, the whatever. But what stands universally is that we need a high school diploma for someone to enter our programs, which can be, it's usually 12 years, right? Sometimes it's 11 years in some countries it's 13 years. But yeah, that whatever is considered in your system the big high school diploma is what we expect you to have. And the most important thing in any case is that you pass the entrance exam. Because no matter what kind of grade you have, if you don't pass the entrance exam, unfortunately, you will not be able to start your first year with us.
all right. Salim is asking, do you accept transfers from other universities in the dentistry program?
Um, yeah, we don't call it a full transfer though. We have a credit transfer process. How it works is you apply as any freshman would. So you apply as if you were just starting the program. And during the admission process, when you have passed the entrance exam, you have gained admission, you then can submit something that's called the credit transfer request form, which can be downloaded from our website. You have to fill it out yourself with the curriculum and the details of your past courses during your program, the former program that you did, and the ones that you think are the ones that we have that are similar. And there's a committee at the university, a committee of professors who will evaluate these documents and this information that you put in. And as long as there's a minimum 85% equivalency between the curriculum of your former course and ours, then those credits for that given course can be transferred. So we cannot tell you in advance if you did like 3 years of dentistry or 2 years of dentistry, whether you can continue from year 3 or not, because it's a longer process of evaluating that curriculum and ours. But yeah, the credits can be transferred.
But But let me add this again that it's a very complicated process. It's not easy. First of all, they'll
Yeah.
see where are you coming from which university, okay, which is the okay, what is the accreditation of that university. Then they will see the subject, they will see the course outline, they will see your grade, everything. So there are five requirements, which is not easy. So applying does not mean that you will get a credit transfer. There is no
Yeah.
guarantee. You can apply and they'll see, but it's a very complicated process. No, okay, next please.
All right. Just to top up to this question from Salim, is there a deadline for the transfer, which is the same as the new students?
It's the same.
Okay. So we're just gonna take these off. Okay. Next question is by Ahmed. Is there scholarships for international students? And if there is, does it cover the first year or the full program?
So there are multiple options. One of them is called the UD International Scholarship, which is offered by the University of Debrecen for only certain programs, and depending on where you come from. But then it would cover up to 90% of your studies, anywhere between 30 to up to 90% of your studies, and it gets reevaluated each year. So each year, based on your academic performance, they will decide the percentage or if there's any percentage that you can get off for the next year. So that's one of our options. And the second one is, of course, the Stipendium Hungaricum Scholarship Program, which is a very, very competitive scholarship program offered by the Hungarian government. It's based on agreements between the Hungarian government and the government of the countries that participate in the scholarship. There's around 60 countries, so a whole list of countries. But it has to be your home country, so your passport country, where you are originally from, not where you reside. So that's the tricky thing. That's one of the tricky things when we talk to students who are mostly from the UAE, because even in this case, it's not the UAE that would be your home country, that would be your sending country, but where you are originally from, where you have your passport from. So that can be India, that's part of the scholarship program, that can be Pakistan, that can be whatever country, because a lot of these countries would be on the list, but they have different requirements. So that's what you have to be extra careful with when you're applying to Stipendium Hungaricum, that you don't choose UAE as your home country if you're not a citizen there, but a resident. And the second thing is, it's a longer process of getting the scholarship, and it's not guaranteed, but it's 100% scholarship. So that means that your tuition fee will be fully covered for the duration of your study program, and then some extras. So it's a very nice scholarship and a unique scholarship for Europe, because it doesn't really exist in many countries. But it does take time. And for that, the application period is completely different from our normal application. For the Stipendium Hungaricum program, you apply between mid-November to mid-January. So you only have 2 months to apply and submit all of your documents. And a very important extra thing is that you need to be nominated by your home country. It's usually the Ministry of Education. In Pakistan, it's the HEC who nominates you for the scholarship, and they also have their exam for the nomination. So if, for example, if you come from Pakistan originally and you're applying for the Stipendium Hungaricum program, you'll have to travel back and take the exam with the HEC to get a chance to be nominated. And without a nomination, you cannot get the scholarship. So it's a bit of a tricky process. And I could use another webinar to talk about just that. So I won't be doing that because it's very long and there is many aspects to the scholarship. But when it comes to that, I'm happy to actually do one if you want to organize later in time when the scholarship application is closer. And in the meantime, you can ask Dr. Kadri and his team, because they also know all about how the scholarship works. Once again, it's a very competitive scholarship, but you can give it a go if you want to. We do have students with the scholarship at UD. You might also refer to our student ambassadors. Most of them are scholarship students. So you can message them and ask what their experience is and how they made sure they get every chance to win the scholarship individually in the end.
All right. We have another scholarship question by Sami. Would a student be able to obtain a scholarship during the studies, or does it have to be before enrolling into the university?
So if we're talking about the UD International Scholarship offered by our university, that's only for freshmen. If we're talking about the Stipendium Hungaricum Scholarship, yes, you can apply each year, not just as a freshman. So even as a current student, you have a chance to win the scholarship. But in this case, the university, based on your performance, your GPA, the university has to also recommend you for the scholarship. So you have to be a very, very top student to get the scholarship as a current student. And besides that, if you're already at the university and you're in the top like 10% of your class based on your GPA, you can also qualify for a tuition fee reduction, which has nothing to do with the Stipendium Hungaricum Scholarship. It's just offered by the different faculties. So basically, if you're a top student, you can get some percentages off your tuition fee. It's usually 10 to 15 to 20 maximum. And that's valid for 1 year and it gets reevaluated each year again. So that's your option if you're a current student.
Okay. Ahmed is asking, are
Yes,
Egyptian
Egypt
students
is one of the
qualified?
participating countries as well. Yes.
Okay. Romeo is saying that he has twin daughters, so is there any sibling discount for that?
We do have sibling discounts, but only for 3 or more siblings at the university at the same time. But please feel free to reach out because we would like to accommodate you. So we will see if there's anything that can be done. But usually it's for 3 students at the same time, 3 siblings at the same time.
All right.
I unfortunately don't know about Romania because we are in Hungary. So yeah, I cannot answer this question.
Okay, all right. So, yes, as we've mentioned a couple times before now, I have shared our contact details, which I'm just gonna share it once again if any of you missed it. So you can contact us. Second. All right. Yes. With that being said, I think we've answered all the open questions. If there's anything else that we have missed out or you'd like more clarity on, you can obviously contact us. And I think this is where we can wrap up the session. So thank you very much, Ms. Dora, for having us and the webinar. It was very informative.
Yeah, thank you for the opportunity, and I'm glad I could clear up some questions. And you guys who are watching us and asking questions, please don't forget that you can always reach out to Dr. Kadri and his team. They know everything about the university. They will be happy to guide you. And we hope to see you all either this September or the September of 2026. And good luck in the meantime. Yeah.
Thank you, Dora, and your
Yeah.
colleague. And thank you, everyone, for joining us. Hope to see some of you there in the on campus this year. No, thanks a lot, Dora.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Have a nice
Bye.
day.
Goodbye.